So we will begin today Act 2, Scene 4. Here is a short dialogue between an old man and Ross, where they speak of the night, which was very strange and ominous. The old man says that I have lived very long, 70, that is 70 years. So for a Renaissance man, 70 years is a very long life, because life expectancy was not so great at that time. So he says that I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange, but this sore night has trifled former knowings. And Ross calls him father because he is an old man. Thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act, threatens his bloody stage. Man's act threatens the bloody stage, that is the stage on which man acts. So the metaphor of the Theatrum Mundi, that this world is a stage, this metaphor was there from the Middle Ages. I am writing in the chat box. This Latin phrase meant theatre of the world. So this idea was not Shakespeare's original, though Shakespeare wrote all the world's a stage, which is often quoted, but it was always there, the idea was there. Is it night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does the face of the earth entomb, when living light should kiss it? So darkness tends to linger, and as elsewhere Shakespeare writes, wished morn delays, the morning is delayed. It is unnatural, even like the deed that is done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed. A falcon is a bigger bird than a mousing owl, but the smaller bird killed the falcon, which is a portent, an omen for something evil. And Duncan's horses, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as they would make war with mankind. It is said they eat each other. They did so to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Duncan's horses became wild and they ate one another, which is an image of disorder, an image of chaos, but it is also a violent image. And then Macbeth comes, and from his speeches we get a few information. So it is for the benefit of the audience that Duncan's sons are being suspected because they have fled. How goes the world, sir, now? Why see you not? Is it known who did this more than bloody deed? Those that Macbeth has slain. So Macbeth's servants killed the king. What good could they pretend? That is, what was their motive by killing the king? they were suborned, that is, they were ordered. Malcolm and Donald Bain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicions of the deed. Because the two sons fled, that is why people are suspecting them that they must be behind the murder of their father. Against nature still, thriftless ambition that will raven up thine own life means, then it is most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth. Thriftless ambition, that is true, but it is not the ambition of Duncan's sons, it is the ambition of Macbeth. But if the sons were too ambitious and killed their own father, then that would be killing their own life, because their father is the source of their life. And in this scenario, it is obvious, or it is natural, that Macbeth would be called upon to be the king, because he was next in line after Duncan. He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested. Scone is a place in Scotland where there was a stone on which the king was coronated, the King of Scotland. The English King Edward I brought it to England, or pilfered it, we may say, to England. Will you to Scone? No, cousin, I will to Fife. Macduff is not going to attend the coronation of Macbeth. He is going to Fife. Fife is his own dukedom. That is, he is going home to his family, his own dukedom, and he is avoiding the coronation of Macbeth, which will put him under suspicion from Macbeth. Ross will, however, go to attend the coronation. In Act 3, we see further aggravation of the plot and quick developments, and Macbeth becoming a harder criminal, committing one crime after another. And in scene 3 of this act, we will see the murder of Banquo. But before that, Shakespeare prepares his audience that how Macbeth's suspicion lies upon Banquo, how he is already planning to kill Banquo, and so on and so forth. So here, Banquo is speaking alone. It is a soliloquy before Macbeth enters. Banquo says, "Thou hast it now, King Cawdor Glamis all, as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playedest most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity." That is, the royalty will not be inherited by your children, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Their means of the witches. Why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well? So if the speeches of the witches come out to be true, then what they said about me, that may also come out to be true. So Banquo is inclined to believe that his sons might be the kings later. But then that puts him in danger, because Macbeth won't want Banquo or his sons to survive so that they can inherit the throne.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, you said that this is a soliloquy. Why is it not a monologue?
drama. So in play, usually we say soliloquy, that is when an actor is speaking something which is obviously addressed towards the audience. Like the audience hears the actor's speech, though soliloquy means that there is no other actor on the stage. Monologue does not mean that. First of all, monologue is more used in other forms like poetry and so on. But in a play also, if a person speaks alone, it is a monologue. But there could be other actors on the stage. But that does not happen with a soliloquy. A soliloquy is intended that the audience hears it and gets certain facts and certain ideas from it. But
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
yeah, but if an actor speaks something when other actors are also present on the stage, but they are not supposed to hear, then that is called an aside. So an actor is saying something loudly for the audience, but the other characters present on the stage, they are not supposed to hear it. That is an aside. But
Sir, can you please type the word in the chat box?
which word? Soliloquy?
No, sir.
Aside.
Aside.
Aside, yes.
So is aside also not an internal monologue?
Just a second. Okay, aside. No, internal monologue is not aside. So you are, internal means that a person is thinking something loudly. Internal means that it is not meant for external consumption, not for the audience. He is thinking out loudly. That is an internal monologue. Now,
Okay, sir.
yeah, you find in Browning's poems internal monologues. So that is, it is a kind of a dramatic device, but used in poetry most of the time. Okay. All right. So Macbeth enters as king. So now Macbeth has been coronated, and Lady Macbeth as queen. And Macbeth announces Banquo to be the chief guest. Here is our chief guest. If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming. So they are throwing a feast. Now this was customary. So after becoming the king, the new king would feast all the courtiers and would also reward them or award them with titles or gifts. So that was the custom. So in this feast, he makes Banquo the chief guest. Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I will request your presence. Then Macbeth knows that Banquo rides every evening, so asks, ride you this afternoon? I, my good lord, we should have else desired your good advice in this day's council, but we will take tomorrow. Is it far your ride? As far, my lord, as we will fill up the time betwixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twine. Very innocently, Macbeth confirms whether Banquo is going out for his usual evening ride or not. And Banquo also, without suspecting anything, tells him and says that if my horse, how far he is going. So Macbeth asks that too, and says that if my horse does not run very fast, then I will ride at least 1 or 2 hours in the dark. So this information is very important for Macbeth, because already he is plotting Banquo's murder. So he is culling all the information. fail not our feast. Now this becomes ironical. Why? Because apparently Banquo will not fail the feast, he will appear there as a ghost. So that in the banquet scene, whenever Macbeth mentions Banquo, Banquo's ghost appears. So we'll see that later. My lord, I will not. We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland. Bloody cousins, that is Donald Bain and Malcolm, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention, but of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state, craving us jointly. So tomorrow when there will be the court, the official court will begin, then all the cases would be heard. So cause means case. Cause of state, that is all the national issues, important cases will be discussed, where Macbeth will need the help of others also, so craving us jointly, that is all of us will be required. Then he further asks, goes Fleance with you? Aye, my good lord, our time does call upon us. So he also gathers the information that Banquo is going with Fleance, Banquo's son. So there is an opportunity for him to hire assassins and kill both of them. Macbeth calls a servant and asks him whether the men he looked for, they are waiting for him. And then when the servant goes away, he speaks to the men. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares. So Banquo has a royal nature which Macbeth lacks, and Macbeth is afraid of Banquo's nature. And to the dauntless temper of his mind, he has the wisdom that doth guide his valour to act in safety. So he is both courageous as well as wise. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked. As it is said, Mark Antony's was by Caesar. Genius is the guardian angel. So in Antony and Cleopatra, Shakespeare's play, Antony and Caesar, they are like rivals, but Antony was always cowed down before Caesar. So Macbeth says that the guardian angel, my guardian angel cows down before the guardian angel of Banquo, like Antony's did before that of Caesar. He kid the sisters when first they put the nature of the king upon me, they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. He chid the sisters, he chided the sisters, the weird sisters. Then prophet-like they held him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown. Now this is of course a soliloquy. Before the murderers enter, Macbeth is speaking alone for the benefit of the audience. The audience gets a picture of his mind. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown and put a barren sceptre in my gripe. Thence to be ranged with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. So my crown is, fruitless, and my scepter that I hold in my hand, that will be barren. It will be taken away by somebody from another line, another family. If it be so, for Banquo's issues have I filed my mind. Now, interestingly here, Macbeth speaks of no son of mine succeeding. Where is Macbeth's son? So, is it a mere conjecture? Probable sons in the future. There are no sons in the picture in this play. But Macbeth is thinking probably that with Lady Macbeth he might have sons. And about Lady Macbeth also there is so much ambiguity. Did she have children or not? Because she says that she had given suck. Then were those children by another man before she married Macbeth? But all these things are extraneous to the play. They need not bother us, and Shakespeare did not clarify them. If it be so, for Banquo's issues have I filed my mind. Filed here means defiled. I have defiled my mind by murdering Duncan for the sons of Banquo, or the progeny of Banquo. For them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for them. And mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings. Eternal jewel, that is my soul. Common enemy of man is the devil, Satan. So I have given my soul to the devil to benefit Banquo's sons. Rather than so, come fate into the list and champion me to the utterance. So Macbeth would rather fight and invokes fate to champion him, that is in the manner of a medieval tournament. Somebody would call loudly the name of the champion, and others from the list would be also called, and they would join the fight. So Macbeth is a fighter, but he cannot fight with destiny, or he cannot fight with things that he does not see. And the murderers appear. Was it not yesterday we spoke together? That is, he already told something to the murderers. Well then, now have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. That is, previously Banquo did something bad to you, which you thought I did. But I didn't do it, Banquo did it to you. This I made good to you in our last conference. So in the last meeting I explained it to you. Passed in probation with you, that is, I tested you, and how you were borne in hand, how crossed the instruments, that is, how you were put into the difficulties by Banquo, what were the means, the instruments by which you were put into difficulty, who wrought with them, and all things else that might, to half a soul and to a notion crazed, say, thus did Banquo. So I explained pretty clearly to you how Banquo was responsible for your misfortune, and you didn't get what you deserved. You made it known to us. I did so and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospelled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever? So this man has made you a beggar, and your progeny, your sons, will remain poor because of him. And will you pray for him to God. Like the feudal custom was that the servant prayed for the master. So, are you so gospel? That is, are you so devoted, so religious minded that you won't take any revenge on Banquo? We are men, my liege. So, again, we see this idea of man. What is a man? This idea is examined and it is repeated in the play. And Macbeth taunts them. I, in the catalogue, you go for men. That is, in a general list, you will be called men. As hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shocks, water rugs, and demi-wolves are clapped all by the name of dogs. So, all these different species of dogs, they are dogs only. They are called by the same name. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, everyone according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him clothed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike. So the general catalogue may put everybody under the same title, dog, but the valued file, that is, there is one file where important comments are made on each species, from where we learn the distinguishing characteristics of every species, every kind of dog. Similarly, in the general catalogue you go for men, but what kind of a man you are, that is the question. And so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosom, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who were our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect. So, if you are not the worst kind of man, then you tell me and I will give you a task which will rid you of your enemy, and then you will become dear to me. So becoming dear to the king would mean a lot. That means that their careers will rise. And Macbeth also says that as long as Banquo is alive, I am sickly. And if he is dead, then I am perfect. I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffet of the world hath so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world. So I have suffered so much in life that I am a reckless man. I hate the world. And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid on it. So the second one says that I am very desperate and I will either take a chance and do something destructive, or I will lose my life in the process. Thus, in Elizabethan Jacobean plays, we often find assassins or murderers. Both of you know Banquo was your enemy, true my lord. So is he mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. So every minute Banquo is alive, it is a danger to me. And though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. So he says that I could myself remove him from the court as a king, but I don't want to do it because Banquo has influential friends, and if I do any such thing, then they will lament Banquo's downfall and they will go against me. And hence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons. So he explains why it is a conspiracy, why he can't do it publicly. So secretly he is appointing them to murder Banquo. I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on it, for it must be done tonight, and something from the palace, that is a little distant from the palace. So I will tell you the exact time and place where you will do it. Always the thought that I require a clearness, that is, I must not by any means be entangled in it. And with him to leave no rubs nor botches in the work, Cleon's his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. So you must also kill Cleos, and you will not leave any botches, you will not botch the action. Resolve yourselves apart. So here we see that Macbeth appoints the murderers of Banquo, and the interesting thing is that he keeps it secret this time from Lady Macbeth, as we will see. Then Lady Macbeth says, "Not had all is spent, where our desire is got without content. It is safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy." Now actually these lines, they reflect the sentiment of Macbeth. That is, it is safer to be destroyed by somebody than to remain in apprehension. Like Freud said that they are two parts of the same mind. So Lady Macbeth expresses her frustration. Not sad, all spent. That is nothing that I really have. I have spent everything. Which means that the kingship and the becoming the queen, which earlier appeared so, alluring, now they do not give the same satisfaction. It appears to be frustrating. Then Macbeth comes. And she does not like Macbeth to be thoughtful. Macbeth always appears very thoughtful. "We have scorched the snake, not killed it. She will close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth." Scorched the snake, that is, we have killed Duncan, but with that our danger did not go away. So here is the image of a snake which has been injured or cut open, but any fleshly cut that would rejoin, the skin would rejoin, so it will heal again. And we remain in the danger of our former tooth, that is, its poison. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the worlds suffer. Ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. So Macbeth does not have good sleep. Every night he has nightmares, and he does not eat in peace. So he says that let the world be disjoined and all the world suffer. Better be with the dead, whom we to gain our peace have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. So better to be dead rather than to be alone and afraid. Ecstasy is a word which does not here have the modern meaning or the present meaning of ecstatic joy. But ecstasy actually means stand out of oneself. So that is alienation. So Macbeth feels alienated. Duncan is in his grave after life's fitful fever. He sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him farther. So here Macbeth is jealous of dead Duncan because life to him appears as a fever, and for Duncan that fever is over, and now he is in peaceful sleep, and all the worries of the state, domestic malice, that is somebody intimate, may be a threat, foreign levy, any threat, internal or external, they do not bother him anymore. Come on, gentle my lord, sleek over your rugged looks, be bright and jovial among your guests tonight. So this is a night of banquet, so you must not be too thoughtful. So shall I love, and so I pray be you, let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence, both with eye and tongue. Unsave the while that we must lave our honours in these flattering streams, and make our faces wizards to our hearts, disguising what they are. So he tells Lady Macbeth that she should pay special attention to Banquo as the chief guest. Now, of course, he does not disclose to her that Banquo is not supposed to come. He has sent assassins to kill him. So Lady Macbeth is also without suspicion. And Macbeth says that we must lave our honours, lave means wash, our honours in these flattering streams. So in the party, the banquet, during the banquet, we must flatter Banquo and so on, and thus we wash our sins, and we disguise our real faces, and our faces are like wizards or masks. Oh, full of scorpion is my mind, dear wife, thou knowest that Banquo and his fiancée lives. So now Macbeth reveals to her the reason of his worry, that Banquo and his son, they live. But in them nature's copy is not eternal. Nature's copy was the Renaissance term. Anybody who is born is a copy of the original mold. So nature copies the original mold of God. So the physical body, that is not eternal, and therefore it can be killed. So Lady Macbeth herself suggests that you need not worry, they can be killed. There is comfort yet, they are assailable. Then be thou jocund, jovial. Ere the bat hath flown his clustered flight, ere to black Hecate summons the short-born beetle with his drowsy hums, hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of the dreadful note. So, some dreadful deed is going to happen. He tells this much to the lady. What is to be done? And then he will not tell her anymore. Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck. Chuck is an affectionate address. Till thou applaud the deed. So, you will later praise the deed, but now you remain innocent. The less you know, the better. So we see that Macbeth cannot any longer make Lady Macbeth his confidante. That is somebody who is part and parcel of his thoughts, who shares every thought. in who he can trust. So Macbeth has become alienated even from Lady Macbeth. So once one is on the path of distrust and suspicion, then one ultimately becomes alienated from everybody. Come sealing night, scarf of the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. You see two personifications, night and day. Now Michelangelo has beautiful sculptures, night, day, dawn and dusk, 4 sculptures. So night will scarp up the tender eye of pitiful day. Pitiful because when you can see any act of oppression, then you pity the victim, you pity the oppressed. But night will cover your eyes with scarf so that you can't see. And with the bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Which bond? The bond of mankind, which is a bond of nature. Everyone is bound to his own kind. So here Shakespeare often uses the word kindness in the sense of kind or a species. So you can or you must be kind towards your own kind. And this bond that Shakespeare speaks of is the bond in a species. As a species, as a human being, you must be kind to every other human being. That is the nature's bond. But that bond keeps Macbeth pale because Macbeth cannot afford to be kind. He must be unkind, cruel, monstrous. And only night with its cruel hands can tear down to pieces this bond of humanity. Light thickens and the crow makes the wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So wherever there is a couplet, a rhyming couplet, that indicates that the scene is come to an end. It is kind of a dramatic cue for the actors. So here is a rhyming couplet, that means the scene has come to an end. So the next scene is the scene of Banquo's murder. We have 10 minutes more, or at least for 5-6 minutes. Now what is significant here is that in every murder scene there is some creativity, and here there are 2 murderers. We have seen Macbeth appointed 2 murderers, but here a third person joins them, a third murderer. So the 2 murderers are confused. But who did bid thee join with us? Macbeth. Now why does Macbeth appoint a third person? Obviously, with the instruction that after the murderers commit the murder, they should also be immediately killed, so that there is no witness. The real perpetrators, they are killed. Like earlier Macbeth had killed the guards. So he does not want to leave any witness or leave anything to chance. He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just. So the second murderer says that we should not distrust the third person because he has come with some instruction obviously. Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spars the lated traveller apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch. So, twilight, it is the night is approaching, it is evening, it is gradually becoming dark. All travelers are going or hurriedly looking for an inn, and our subject of watch, that is Banquo, would be approaching now. Banquo and Fleance with a torch. Why torch? Because it has already become dark. So they lighted a torch, and the murderers see the light. A light, a light. It is he. Stand to it. It will be rain tonight, Banquo says. And the murderer, first murderer says, let it come down. So it is the rain of blows. It is the rain of stabbing wounds. The first murderer strikes out the light while the others assault Banquo. O treachery, fly, good Fleance, fly, 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 thou mayst revenge. O slave. So because Banquo is suddenly attacked alone by 3 people, so he can't save himself, and besides he also tries to save his son. So he fights with them in order to give time to Fleance to escape. Who did strike out the light? The third murderer says. Was it not the way? There is but one down, the sun is fled. We have lost best half of our affair. So obviously the 2 murderers, they are not very intelligent, and by putting down the light in the dark they could not see how Fleance escaped. So the third murderer, who was sent by Macbeth, obviously becomes very angry. But of course we will see that these 2 murderers, they again come, and they are not murdered by the third murderer, as I said. They come and report to Macbeth about Banquo's death and about Fleance's escape. Any question till now? Or rather, maybe I should stop and give you time for asking questions. Hello, are you there? Do you have any questions? Hello? Say something.
Sir, I don't.
Okay. Anybody else has any question? If not, then we'll end it.
No, sir.
Okay then. Thank you. So we end it here.